Ahora.
Hey everybody, buenos dias! Thank you so much for coming to the Down and Real show with the CEO diva, MIRNA, that's me. Buenos dias, and today we have our special guest, Roderick. So make sure that y'all stay tuned, guys, porque va a estar buenísimo, okay? He has a lot of things that we're doing together in the community. And like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of things in the future, and it's going to be really, really good, guys. So if you're in business, if you're part of someone that likes to be mentored, you're somebody that wants to be motivated, this is definitely the show for you. Y hoy estamos en vivo desde los nuevos estudios de Radio Metroplex en Arlington, Texas, la capital del deporte, el espectáculo y el entretenimiento. So it's going to be good.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, so let's get to it. I mean, we're just going to have a conversation because there's just so much to talk about. Where do you want to start?
We start from the beginning.
All right, let's start about the beginning. What was your beginning?
So my genesis dates back a few years, a little bit older than what I look. I was born in Fort Worth, Texas, but I was raised in Waco. So I'm a Waco kid. So,
okay.
I lived in Waco until the early aughts, like late 1999, early 2000, and moved back to the Metroplex. And been back in between Arlington and Grand Prairie and Mansfield the rest of my time here. So, deep roots in Waco. So most of my family's still there. A lot of my family's still there, and a lot of my friends, relatives, and my heart is there. But but Arlington has my heart as well. So does Grand Prairie and Mansfield. So just happy to have an opportunity to speak and kind of tell my story a little bit and share it with you. So that's kind of where it starts, right?
It's I've said this. It's hard to find people that just with their presence motivate you to do more.
Yeah.
And I think that you're one of those people, and I'm so glad that I came to a community that has people like you.
Sure.
So thank you so much for being that.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I know. We're feeling really okay. So we've been meeting to meet, but we haven't been able to do it. But this is our meetup, so y'all get to be part of that.
Indeed.
So Waco has had a glow up. I mean, they are just out here thriving, doing, getting on like movie shows and all these things.
Absolutely.
So when you were there as a kid, did you know that you were going to be an entrepreneur? Or
it's interesting that you say that. I kind of did.
You did?
Well, I'll tell you why. So going back again to my history, my granddad was a tremendous entrepreneur in the late 30s, early 40s. He had several businesses. He had a horse stable. He had taxi cab company. He had a night spot, an entertainment spot. It was known as Walker's Auditorium, and several of the artists that we know that were in R&B, Ella Fitzgerald, B.B. King, James Brown, they all played there, right? So I was still young. My granddad passed away when I was 7. But I remember one of the things I always remember was when he would go to the auditorium, I would ask him to bring me back, cheese and crackers and orange juice, right? So, and he would always do that. So, and then as I grown older, I'm a musician as well. So I used to produce music and still produce music and done a lot of things. I actually, produced my first track when I was 12 or 13 years old. So I've always kind of had the business mindset of kind of doing things for myself. So I would say that, I had a heavy influence in entrepreneurship, from an early age. I didn't know that I was an entrepreneur. I just knew I wanted to kind of, do music and kind of have my own business.
Yeah, do your own thing. Like,
exactly.
It's not be under someone.
Right.
So, like, when, I guess, you went to college, you did all that.
Yep.
So how were you as a kid? Like, were you, big and tough, or were you
no,
a nerd?
No. I was a nerd. Yeah.
Were you?
Oh
it's
yeah.
Like everyone that comes here is every single person is a nerd.
Yeah,
Man.
I was tall and skinny and played basketball and I definitely was a nerd. But again, I had a huge influence of people, that the neighborhood that I came up in was a lot of school administrators, firemen, sheriffs. So I grew up around a lot of strength, around a lot of power, around a lot of influence. Black males that were powerful, that were strong, and so it was really a great opportunity to have that type of childhood. I wouldn't trade my childhood for anything.
Right, you had the right guy.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Man, I want to lived that through you.
Yeah.
So you're speaking of it, and I'm imagining what that would look like. I
Right.
mean, walking in every day and having a positive view on life.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Several of the men that I was reared under, again, powerful men. You know, very influential men. Like I said, sheriffs. So I had basically 2 sheriffs that were in my neighborhood. I had like 3. My stepdad was he's a superintendent. I had other members of my neighborhood that were principals and stuff like that, and then basically a lot of school administrators. So a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
You know, but then a lot of leverage as well.
It's like you had high standards.
Exactly.
Like you couldn't. I mean, it's if you let yourself down, you let everybody down because they probably hold you to it.
Absolutely.
Well, that explains so much. So when you got to college, what was your major? What was the?
So I actually I did twice. So the first time around I majored in commercial music and audio technology because I was in music. So and then also I had computer network and system administration and network security. So I got basically 4 degrees. So so music, you know, actually IT, you know, the music was IT was spawned from my music, right? I had to basically, as I'm producing my tracks or whatever, I had to build a computer in order to have, you know, get more influence in my music, right?
Like
so
copyright, I got it.
Exactly, right? So I had to build a computer, and so I'm like, you know, building computers is pretty cool. So I got off into computers, and then the rest is history. So
you tell me that, and my 8-year-old is reading computer science, like a notebook.
Absolutely.
It's made for kids, I assume, because it's like a journal.
Right.
But it's crazy how interesting it is.
It's
like,
very.
I mean, and if you think about it, it's one of the best industries to get into.
It is literally, I would say, recession proof. COVID proof. You know. And then, of course, it's just the way that, you know, the world's communicating now, you know, a lot more with technology, and it's basically the foundation of our communication.
I mean, and that's just the future itself.
Indeed.
Wow. So you are definitely killing it. When did you decide to get into cybersecurity? Because, I mean, you were already a musician. You were already doing that.
Well,
but...
I did music as well. And then, of course, I worked at Verizon for several years. And so about at least 15 years of Verizon. And as I got older, I was like, I still had that entrepreneurial spirit. And I was like, you know what, I still want to do for myself and do my own thing. And so to answer your question, I really got out full time in 2021 and started doing what I'm doing now. And
right after the pandemic.
Yeah, well, and so, you know, God is good. I actually went back to Verizon. I left Verizon twice. I left in 2017 and went back in 2019. And stayed there to 2021 through the pandemic. And then like in 2021, I was like, oh, you know what? I need to do my own thing. So, you know, great opportunity at Verizon, great people. You know, they took good care of me, right?
Do you have Verizon right now?
The service?
Yeah.
I do. I do. I still do.
It's funny. You work for Verizon. I work for Verizon, like cleaning their floors. It's so crazy. But
indeed.
I really love Verizon. The environment there was really good.
Yeah,
so I got to see it.
Yeah.
So I might need to switch.
Indeed.
Not paid advertising.
I know, right? Exactly, right.
But okay, I did read though on your bio that you were a coach.
I was.
So when did that happen?
Oh man, let's see. My son is 18 now. When he was 6, 7. One of my best friends offered me. I started coaching with in Mansfield, and one of my best friends, my brother, I consider my brother. He had an AAU basketball team, and he asked me that I want to come out there and coach with him, and I said sure, I'd love to. So I think when my son was 6, I started with him. He has older boys that were one of them was already in high school, another one was in junior high. So I started in Mansfield and Arlington, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. I love motivating people. Like I also go to the gym. You know, you may be able to tell. I go to the gym a little bit, right? And but I love pouring into people and helping people, achieve, goals. And I tell people in the gym all the time, and even with my coaching, that you cannot negotiate that, right? Everything else in the world can be negotiated. You can't negotiate heart. You can't negotiate, the perseverance of trying to get to a goal, right? You can't either you put in the work or you don't do it, right?
There's just 2 ways.
Exactly. But I love coaching though. Absolutely.
So the reason we decided to go back, because I know that there's so much you're going to tell us when it comes to your entrepreneurship.
Right.
But in the coaching, I think that is so important to people to understand that. Like,
Sure.
we need male figures.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they're like, I'm not being a feminist here, okay? I'm just saying that I was so in the, I'm independent, I don't need no man, because that's how I was brought up. But once I found my husband, and once I was able to heal, which took 9 years, I was finally able to be myself, like be happy genuinely. And if there was more men out here that took accountability, that wanted to take the responsibility, and that was taught to them, maybe we wouldn't have to walk over here being single mothers, trying to work 3-4 jobs, and us in our masculine and not letting our feminine energy bloom, you know?
Yeah.
So I really do believe it starts with the next generation.
It does.
I'm a big fan on it. And so when you're out here coaching these kids, I know Mansfield's a good area, but did you see any moments where you're like, you kind of became that father figure to them?
Absolutely. No doubt about it. I'll tell you a really quick story. I won't take long, but one of
we
my
got an hour.
Okay, I got you. Right, cool. All right. One of my young men who I love dearly. He actually is very, very accomplished now. When I first met him, and you know, if he's listening or watching, he knows who he is, right? When I first met him, he was very resistant to, you know,
authority.
Very. But he's also very very confident in his skill set, and I saw that, and I was like, okay, this young man has something, right? And so it's interesting, when I first started coaching him, like maybe the first or second week that I started coaching, he was really resistant to what I was telling him, like, oh, okay, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Who is this guy trying to tell me this, blah, 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 blah. And his father made him apologize to me at the end of the practice. And so I said, don't worry about it. I know who he is. And so I stayed on him and stayed on him and stayed on him. Now he is, you know, he's going to be an entrepreneur. He wants to start his own shoe business. He's gone to college. He's got his degrees now, and very, very accomplished young man. And again, I love him very much. He's doing very well, was very successful in basketball. And he texts me all the time, you know, Coach Floyd, man, thank you for helping me. Thank you for pouring into me. And so he had a father, don't get me wrong, but I was that other father figure that really poured into him and made him understand, like, hey, you know, there are people out here who care about you.
Yeah.
And I used to always tell my players, when I stop yelling and screaming at you, that's when you need to worry. That's when you need to worry. Because
and it takes a village.
It does.
So it's not just at home.
Right.
It takes those. And you said it. I mean, you were the one pouring. Maybe his father was teaching him, hey, respect this.
Absolutely.
But you were the motivation pushing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And together y'all created him.
Absolutely.
So that is amazing.
Yeah, and I'm very thankful to his parents for allowing me to
step in.
Exactly. And they allowed me to, right? Because I mean, I take that very seriously, right? You know, knowing where the boundaries are and where the limits are, but then also being able to push those and be like, you know, now you earn that trust. I've earned that trust to say, hey, I'm going to take care of your young man. I'm going to take care of your child and rear them in the right direction. And they all saw that. They were like, you know, because sometimes I thought I was a little too hard. You know, and they was like, no, coach, I love it. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, okay. So I know I'm in the right place. So my thing was stripping them down to build them back up. Right. And so that was my thing. Right. And so I had an opportunity to do that. And yeah, I loved it. I miss it. I do.
And
miss it.
That's one of the things, like, parents step in, like, don't be talking to my son like that. And it's like, I'm really trying to help your son.
And I was really, to your point, Myrna, that's a great point. I was really thankful and blessed to have parents that understood what we were doing. Because I was that drill sergeant. I was that guy. I was screaming and yelling. But at the end, the parents were like, Coach Floyd, keep doing what you're doing. I love it. You know, so I was really blessed that I didn't have any parents that really pushed back on my style of coaching.
Good. And it just goes back to what you're doing, right? Like, I believe that sports are discipline.
Indeed.
It's teaching them
Absolutely
discipline.
It is.
And I think for a long time, because I was never in sports. I mean, it was not an option for me. But now that I see it and I'm involved with the next generation, I see how it can impact their future.
Sure.
So definitely. Well, thank you so much for doing that for those kids. And I heard that all those kids that were under your coaching have gone to college?
We had so I was talking to my good friend about this, and we were like amazed at the fact that if we had, so I think 15, 16 kids, I think of those 15 kids, 12 or 13 of them played at college ball somewhere.
Wow.
Next level. And one of them actually played in the tournament this past year. In the NCAA tournament. Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
very, very proud of that, what we were able to do.
That's why you need to be an influence to this next generation. You never know how you're gonna impact them.
Right.
All right. So I wanted y'all to hear that, guys, because it's very, very important to what his future had. Yeah. So now we're here. You're becoming an entrepreneur. Yeah. You're like, that's it, Verizon. I love y'all, but it's time for me to see my way out.
Yeah.
All right. So now he's here. Okay, guys. So it's right after the pandemic, 2021, and you're taking your initiative to become an entrepreneur. Yeah. What was that switch like? All right, I'm going for it.
I had looked at, my business for, the way I had thought about becoming an entrepreneur even back in 2017, like I told when I left the first time. And I don't think the timing was right at the time, right? So my son came to live with me full time at that time. And so I thought that maybe a little bit more stability, at least what I thought was stability at the time, was paramount. But in 2021, I just decided, like, I need to do this. The time is right. And I can't tell you what made me do it. I could just say God. Just say, look, the time is right now. You got to get out and do this right now. Because I felt that the longer I wait, the longer it's going to be for me to do it.
Yeah, there's always an
excuse. And I'll be honest with you, Myrna, I jumped in with no safety net. Like, I left Verizon and started this. I didn't have another side gig going on. I'm like, okay, I'm all in on this. I got to
So
make this
basically,
work.
you can't fail.
Yeah, pretty much. And so,
that's the best way, guys.
Exactly.
So you were there in the moment of it's fight or flight.
Right.
Am I going to make it?
Yeah.
There's just no answer to that because it has to work.
Right.
So what was it like to get your first deal, your first contract, or your first customer? What was that like?
I'll tell you, I laughed because it was the first customer that wasn't. Let me explain to you. No, this is interesting, right? I had actually gotten an opportunity with a municipality, and I was excited. I was ready to go. They signed the contract, and then I guess there was a clause in my contract that they didn't like, their lawyer didn't like, and so they backed out. It was basically a situation to where I was going to be exposing my business from a legal standpoint. Of course, I couldn't sacrifice my business, right? So unfortunately, I had to back out. But to answer the question. And honestly, Myrna, I had been in business for about maybe a couple of months at that point when I got that first big deal, and it was a pretty big opportunity.
Yeah,
I was excited.
So you were protecting something that was very, very tiny.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so
hear that out, okay, guys?
Yeah, and so, but I was very excited about it, and also overwhelmed. I was like, okay. Again, I think that I can talk to people, and I have obviously it's 20 plus years in the industry. To where I know that I've seen almost every issue, pretty much that anybody's going to have, right? And so I know that I can solve their problem successfully and efficiently. But it's like, okay, once I close the deal, now what? That's where I was. I was like, okay. And I'll be honest with you, because of doing things on my own for so long, one of my vices was asking for help. And that's the one thing that I had to learn to do, right? Because, okay, this is a new environment for me. I understand the technology, but I'm becoming a businessman now. And so I had to reach out for help. And that was always something like, okay, I can figure this out, because all of my days, even everything that I used to do, I was always the guy that everybody came to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I had that. I've been kind of, indoctrinated into the fact of I can figure this out myself. Yeah, it was different. So
and I think that's just a man thing, like a real man, like you're faced with that challenge, and honestly, like, I'm glad we're talking about it right now. So you have to understand, when it comes to business, everybody, like, you cannot build an empire by yourself. At the end of the day, I don't care who you are, I don't care how much power you are, how knowledge you have. At the end of the day, it comes down to that network.
Indeed.
So he's telling you guys he knew the industry. I mean, it sounds like you knew it inside out.
Yeah.
But it came down to a moment where you're like, okay.
I tell you that, from a technical perspective, I feel like I know a lot. Nobody knows everything, right? And I realize the fact of true intelligence is realize you don't know everything. So I'm always learning and trying to better myself every single day. The one thing that I was not very good at is I have a business mindset, but the practicality, it's putting it in motion and making it work. And then, like I said, then not knowing who to talk to and not who to trust, because this is new for me. Remember, I come from the ISP world, right? For Verizon. Now I'm on the enterprise side. I'm having to learn pretty much everything that's brand new to me. And
it's more than just building a logo.
Exactly. Right.
LLC. That's it. No, it's way.
And I know, and one thing that I admire about you is that you're very good at understanding all aspects of your business. And I had to get to that point. No, you really are. And I watch people, Myrna, and I noticed you when you first came to the chamber. Well, when I first came to the chamber, I know you're already there, but I noticed the company you keep. And everybody in your company they're all business minded. They're like minded individuals. And so that's why I was very influenced and very, honored for you to ask me that you saw the same thing in me, because I've definitely seen it in you.
Thank you. I didn't know that guy. So this is your first time him telling me.
Come on now. But to your point, asking for help and asking people that had been in the industry that have done it. I had a hard time kind of getting over that. And I got to tell you, I'm still learning how to, properly ask. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and it's the challenge, but like you said, knowing the fact that you don't know everything.
Yep.
Nobody does.
Yep.
I mean, you're lying to yourself if you're saying, "Oh, I know all." There's always something to learn. There's something always that we can experience and learn from that, or take the experience from others and learn from those, so we don't commit the same mistakes.
Absolutely.
So I totally feel that. So when you're there, you got the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So how did they say yes?
With the opportunity that I was sending out? Well, because we have contracts that we send out, right? So I give them a proposal after I do their assessment. They were like stunned at all the stuff that I was able to find with my assessment, right? They had no idea. Ooh. Well, because the way that it works is when I go in and assess someone's network, I basically run some, instruments. I have some instruments that I run that tells me everything about their environment, right? PCs, how many people logged in, how many people were logged in, blah, blah, a bunch of technical stuff. But they were like, wow, Rod, I didn't even know half the stuff was here. So they were very impressed by that because of what we were able to do.
From an assessment. Exactly,
from an assessment. So to answer your question, when I had given them the proposal, like, yes, let's do it. I mean, you're the guy.
It's no brainer.
Yeah. So they signed, obviously, my proposal. And then, of course, after that comes the actual contract to say, hey, this is our, managed services agreement. And you signed it, and they signed it. And then they stopped and they gave it to their lawyer. And their lawyer looked at it and was like, there's a clause in there that we need to, negotiate. And I was like, okay, that clause is non-negotiable. It's really exposing my business to, frivolous lawsuits. And I was like, I can't do that. As much as I want to work with you guys, I can't do that. And so I got my lawyer involved, their lawyer was involved, and we couldn't find an agreement. So I had to unfortunately walk away from that opportunity.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You didn't take it? Oh.
No, I didn't. Because I
love that. Respect.
Integrity. I had to do it. And all of the other guys, and that was one of the times I did reach out to other owners and like, hey, what would you guys do? Like, no, Rod, they have to sign that piece. They have to agree to that. Yeah. You can't. Then you're putting your business out there to be exposed. So so that's why I called it the deal that wasn't. They signed it, and of course then we just couldn't. That one little clause in it, it's an indemnity clause, and we couldn't agree on it. So I had to walk away.
Guys, that is deep. Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all don't understand what it is for an entrepreneur. Like that first deal is like major. It's like you're already like planning where to celebrate, like stay for sure. Okay, so then so when you walked into your second, were you nervous? Were you like, get excited?
I was excited because again, it was an opportunity, and I got to be honest with you, I didn't know where this opportunity came from. Somebody must have referred me to this opportunity.
Network.
There you go, networking, exactly. And I got it, and they were like, let's sign on the dotted line. And I'll tell you another one, Myrna. I just literally signed the opportunity about a month ago where it's a really good, big one. And so thank you. And so I am, getting there. It's growing, right?
Yeah.
And and I'm okay with the journey. I always say fall in love with the process. In the gym, with my basketball team and my football team, fall in love with the process, right?
Yes.
because the process is ultimately what gets you to the goal, right? The goal is one thing, but it's the process you have to love. If you don't love the process, then you'll never reach the goal, right? So
that right there is everything.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that because I thought that the point was get to the goal, get to the goal, get to the goal. But then you miss on life.
Yeah,
You're not living at that
right.
point.
That's right.
That's right. Okay. So I had a question and it went away. So I have to go back.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So you are now getting your deals. You're feeling that, and you're getting referred out to it. I don't want to jump into the rest because I know we're gonna stay in there.
Okay.
But oh my God, what was this question I had for you? It's gonna kill me. I hate. Do y'all get that, guys? Okay. I'm gonna try to remember. But
all right.
I guess we jump into this. So you're being referred out. Why do you think you're being referred out?
Relationship building.
So, how did you end up in Arlington?
Oh, wow. Great question. I've always been in Arlington, kind of so on and so forth. I was in Grand Prairie. When I first moved back, when I tell you I moved back to Dallas in 2000, I was in Grand Prairie. But I always had a presence in Arlington. Again, the basketball team, the football team was in Arlington and Mansfield. So between Arlington and Mansfield is where I was. But when I got divorced from my ex-wife, I moved to Arlington. I was in Grand Prairie and I moved to Arlington, right down the street off Cooper. And I was in those apartments over there, and I joined the gym right across the street. And I just started, networking from there. And so that's where, I kind of built this, environment of people that I know, right? And I stayed in that apartment for about 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the foundation for me being in Arlington. And so I just decided, this is where I need to be. And even when I looked at my territory, I did the research and realized all of the businesses that are here in Arlington, all of the opportunities, and I also saw the growth metrics for Arlington, even back, in 2017, 2018, when I first looked at it. They offered me 2 territories, Grand Prairie or Arlington. I'm like, no, I'd rather have Arlington. I see the growth there. And so Arlington is, is my second home, right?
All right, guys. So y'all hearing this. So he kind of saw the vision for Arlington before.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So before we get into the rest, I need you to tell everyone, what is it that you do?
Okay.
How they can talk to you, how can they reach out to you,
Sure.
How can they get into your little bubble?
Yep.
Which at this point is growing. Okay, guys? All right. So what is it that you do?
So I own a managed service provider. So basically IT services. We call it could be IT consulting, but we provide IT support for small to medium businesses, anywhere between, 5 to 500 to 1,000 seats. It could get fairly big. And basically our services include, but are not limited to, cybersecurity, compliance, risk mitigation, new builds, networking, cloud support, storage, everything, data centers, everything dealing with, with IT support for small to medium businesses.
Okay, I need you to go with your slogan. Okay, I need you to come out with it, guys. Y'all need to hear how good it is.
Okay, so basically, I say that we take the SH out of your IT. Yeah. And what that ultimately means is, for a lot of companies, is stress and hassle. We take the stress and hassle out of your IT. So.
No, we're gonna go with what it is, okay?
Yep.
But for camera purposes, stress and hassle. I like that. I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
I just went through the straight thing.
Yeah, I tell you, I was very scared to say that. When I first joined the chamber, I'm telling you, the first Bob I went to.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm not going to say this because, I realized that there are some folks that, religious, I'm religious as well, but I was really kind of, playing on whether I want to do it or not.
Yeah.
And so I was like, the voice just told me to go ahead and do it. And I did it. And I mean, everybody loved it, and members of the chamber came by and gave me a fist pound. Like, oh, wow, this is awesome. So
well, that's why I remember it.
Yeah.
It was like, so I do physical security. You do cyber security, which I love.
Exactly.
And this is what I talk about, guys. There is no competition on what you do. There's nothing but collaboration and opportunity.
Right.
Okay. So like, who knows that my clients can't be his clients or your clients cannot be mine. Mm-hmm. So it goes back to God knew what he was doing with that contract that you didn't sign off on.
Yeah.
Sometimes things can look too good, but yet not be for you.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're being guided by the right man. I mean,
Absolutely.
You were just like, no, I'm not gonna put myself in that
Yeah.
situation. And I
Yeah.
think even with all the stuff that is going on, guys, a lot
Yeah.
of people sell out.
It's true.
And then end up regretting it later on.
Yeah.
So I love that for you. And so, okay, now y'all know what he does, guys. And he spilled the beans. He is part of the chamber.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Yep.
so Arlington is an amazing city in itself.
Indeed. Absolutely.
But the Chamber of Arlington,
Yeah.
I mean, it's killing the game right
Yeah,
now.
very much so.
And it's not because
Very
we're
much so.
part of it, but I will say. So here's the secret, guys. He's an ambassador for the Chamber of Arlington.
Yeah.
Yay!
Thank you.
So if you would like to have a ribbon cutting and have him attend, make sure you join the
I
chamber.
would love to. I would love to.
Yeah, so he'll come out to your ribbon cutting. So tell me a little bit of what the ambassadors do.
Yeah. So we are ultimately the face of the chamber, if you will.
Okay.
As an ambassador, our job is to go out to businesses and let them know that the chamber exists, and that obviously that we want to cultivate and welcome them to our community, give them an opportunity to show what they do, offering the ribbon cutting, showing them the support that they need. Anything that they need to grow their business through the Chamber of Arlington is one of our assignments, right? And to that point, reaching out to new members of the chamber, new businesses that have come to the community, offering them their plaques and enshrining them into the chamber. Just basically, being able to provide them the support that they need to know that there is a chamber out there, and that that we're welcoming them, and that we want them to succeed as much as we can, and offer them any opportunity they can to succeed.
And what is the slogan for the chamber?
Together
we succeed.
Exactly.
So, guys, when we tell you we genuinely support, I never saw something like that. I mean, that is insane how much support there is in one another, and the events that the Chamber of Arlington hosts, the things that we do, and it's just, you want to learn how to get, you were raised by an influential man. You said that you had that around. I think that a lot of people don't have that, and then they come into the entrepreneurship, and it's so important to have that. So how do you get that? Through the chamber, I would say.
So let me make sure I understand. So for me, ask your question again. I'm sorry.
No. It's not a question. It's like, so for people that don't have the influence, what is the best way for them to get into getting in front of leaders?
Yeah.
And then the chamber just opens that door. It
does. I'll answer the question by saying this. One of the things that the chamber has allowed me to do is, to that point, get in rooms that I normally wouldn't have been in. I not only would I not have been in, I wouldn't have known anything about.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
do you have an example of one?
Yeah, I just kind of scaled up to what we consider a CLC. And so now, meeting with the mayor, one of the meetings that I went to, I had no idea that was even going on as a general member. So it just allows me, like, wow, there's a lot of influential people in town, in the area, and I need to be in those rooms, right? To just understand, the laws, and of course the influences that they're having in the community. And I'm all about that. I'm all about just trying to get in those rooms and try to, make a difference, and, obviously help our community grow in the rate. And I'll answer your question by saying this too, Myrna. One of the things that I saw first when I came to the chamber was the diversity.
Yeah.
I mean, off the charts. I was completely shocked, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, it's very, very diverse. And that's the one thing I loved about it,
And it's crazy because it is new. The diversity is new, but it's so powerful.
Very.
It's in its best stages right now.
Very.
So,
very.
Not only is he an ambassador, guys, but he's also the vice chair of the Black Alliance, Black Business Alliance.
Yeah.
So how is that? What do y'all do?
So our job is to, obviously in inclusivity, but obviously, make sure that we, showcase the Black-owned businesses.
Yeah.
The Black and brown-owned businesses. So, and I'm very, very proud to be a part of this organization. It started by a lot of influential elders that we have.
Yeah.
And I just I'm very serious about moving it in the direction that it needs to move into with our chairman as well. And so again, just getting out the opportunities to see Black owned businesses, female owned businesses, minority owned businesses.
Yeah.
It's the Black Business Alliance, but we cultivate all businesses in the chamber, right?
Yeah.
With a I guess with a specificity with Black owned businesses, right? So getting out the word, letting them know that there are a lot of Black owned businesses that are here, showcasing them. We have different opportunities, monthly opportunities where we go to different Black owned businesses and have our BBA meetings, and letting people know that there is a voice and a vehicle for those businesses that they probably wouldn't have known that was there.
I mean, and y'all's network are just killing right now. Like, oh my God, it's so good.
Likewise, yeah.
So I'm the vice chair of the Latino Business Alliance, which was influenced, okay? So our chair, she's doing amazing.
Indeed.
But it was influenced by y'all. Because y'all, I mean,
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Did you know that the Latino Business Alliance was just a Latino group? That was what it was called, Latino group.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a Latino group, and it was one Zoom meeting a month.
Really?
That's it. At 3 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah, so we saw what y'all were doing in the Black Business Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you these networkings, I mean, y'all were just out here doing it. And like, again, the chamber itself shows support.
Indeed.
But what y'all were doing was something so different. It was like actually going out to this business, like outreach. In person, like, no, okay, this is your business, let's do it. Yeah. What can we do to that?
Absolutely.
And it's like,
absolutely.
Whoa. What are we doing in the Latino? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So now we're the Latino Business
Wow, that's
Alliance.
awesome. I did not know. I really didn't know that, man.
I'm shocked you didn't know.
I didn't.
So, which is what I was telling y'all earlier, guys. So he's vice chair and I'm vice chair. So that means next year we're both chairs.
Indeed.
And I am really looking forward to collaborate.
I am too.
And I encourage everyone, if you're even in surrounding areas, try to join, guys, because this is our first sit down, and
Indeed.
it's so good, guys.
Yep.
I feel like we have the right mentality to take it to the next level, and not only help our business grow, but help other people's business continue to grow, thrive, and connect them to the right people.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yep, exactly. Yes.
Absolutely.
See what I'm talking about, guys? And so that's all going to happen next year. Now, absolutely. I have a question for you. World Cup is coming.
Okay.
To this beautiful city of Arlington.
Absolutely, it is.
Are you ready for that?
Wow. I am very, very proud of the growth that our city has been able to achieve, to have the World Cup. Like,
well,
the
you
World
saw
Cup.
The vision.
I know, right? I did, but I got to tell you, it's even surpassed what I thought back then, right? Yeah. I mean, to have the Rangers be the the World Series champions, and obviously have the Cowboys here in town, and of course now the World Cup coming. I mean, that's huge. I mean, so the influx of opportunities and the economic growth that's going to come from that is going to be paramount. It's going to be ridiculous. So I'm very ready for it.
You know what? Okay, so cyber security is one.
Yep.
Physical security is another.
Yep.
There's 18 countries.
Yeah.
Countries coming to Little Arlington.
Right.
I don't know how to imagine.
I can't either.
And then Mauricio was here the other day, and he's been. He said he's experienced 5 World Cups, I think, in Brazil, or Brazil has had 5 World Cups or something like that.
Right.
But he said, like, the way it works, he's like, it's not just those 3 months. One, you're gonna have prior people trying to book and whatnot, and he's like, it's crazy as far like the range that is gonna go. It's gonna go all the way down to Frisco, right?
Yeah.
But Little Arlington, it's going to be over flooded. Rumors are saying there's even $2,000 homes being rented out a night.
Oh yeah,
a night.
Yes.
Okay, people are like, you know what? I'm gonna just move out, rent my house.
Right.
I mean,
and pay off that
hustle,
mortgage.
yeah, for real. The
Right.
hustle is real. Okay, so that. Then there's the fact that he's like 3 months, but then what's going to come is going to stay for years on end.
Yeah.
Because now Arlington is known as DFW,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
being part of DFW.
Mm-hmm.
But now Arlington is going to be known as Arlington. Yeah.
Right.
And it's so crazy.
It
like,
is.
I am just so excited.
I am too. The opportunities is
if y'all don't
endless.
see me show up at work. But yeah, the opportunities.
Big time.
I mean, we're going to be chair on that. So,
absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We need to.
I know. We need to get our minds right for that, right?
Okay. So, we do have a few people saying, Buenos dias, Karina. Buenos dias, Elva. Diamantina, thank you so much for always checking us out. Potra, buenos dias. How's everyone, guys? This is the Down and Real show with Mirna, the CEO, Diva, and today we were with Roderick Floyd. And we still have a few minutes, so I just wanted to remind you, we are en vivo desde los nuevos estudios Radio Metroplex en Arlington, Texas, que es la capital del deporte, el espectáculo y el entretenimiento. And we will be having World Cup here soon, guys. So this is what we're talking right now. Opportunities.
Indeed.
I don't want to leave you without talking about this because you already talked about it. You tapped into it. And I didn't want to I wanted to save it to the end.
Okay.
Because this is where your influence comes in. Y'all know, guys, I want to connect you with somebody you need to know, someone you need to connect with, and someone you would learn from.
Mm-hmm.
And that is you, Roderick. Like, I genuinely feel that.
Thank you.
So you talked about discipline. What is your daily routine like?
Yeah. Okay. No, I can definitely tell you that. So I try to get up around 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
It used to be a little earlier, but I guess a little older. We've gotten a little later now. But I go to the gym. I hit the gym, and work out in the gym for about an hour and a half. After that, have my smoothie or whatever, and as I'm, getting ready to start the day. And I'm usually in the office around 8:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And but again, a lot of my work now as an owner is, just making sure that I have my pipeline, of my potential prospects in order. Get online, check my current clients and see how the health of their environment is. Look at that.
Right.
Make sure they're good. Send an email out. I always try to send an email out to my clients like every other Monday saying, hey, just checking in to see how you're doing. Is everything okay? And then, just kind of start the day. From that point on, usually in the morning. So about an hour and a half, to, check emails, respond to emails, write emails.
You're responsible.
Yeah, exactly. Write emails, checking in on everyone. And then, if there's something going on with the chamber, like ribbon cuttings, I go to my ribbon cuttings. I usually, if I have a client that needs some service, locally at their facility, I go out there. So my day is kind of a little different from day to day.
Okay.
The one thing that I always try to do, though, obviously the gym is every day. That's regimented. That's every single day. I usually try to check my emails from 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning up until 10. And then from that point on, it's kind of shaky, right? Because it just depends on what clients need from me, and it depends on what's going on with the chamber. But usually, around 11:30, 12, of course, I eat my lunch, whatever, and then I check more emails, respond to emails. I'm kind of it's fluid. I'm fluctuating every day.
Yeah.
I wish that I could tell you that. My goal, though, obviously, as I build my team, is to just now cultivate the business, work on, my prospects, work on, prospecting, marketing, doing my marketing. And like I said, and then have my team manage the day-to-day, the operation side of it. So I think that hopefully, next year when we're talking, that at that point, gym, emails, marketing, prospecting, so on and so forth. So that's kind of what it is. The life of an IT guy it fluctuates quite a bit.
Right.
If a client calls and says, hey, Rod, I'm having a problem, then I kind of have to shift everything to more of a service delivery type of mentality, make sure you get that problem taken care of, then kind of getting back to what you're doing. So it's not as regimented as, maybe another business because of the fact that, IT
I feel
issues
you
happen.
100% because I don't have a, I don't have a set.
Yeah.
I try, but I can't.
Right.
It's just not happening.
Yeah.
So what makes you get up or continue to get up? Because you've been doing this for a while to go to the gym, but how do you motivate yourself to stay on it? And I'm asking for myself.
It's a part of my life now. It's my lifestyle. Working out every day, training every day. It comes from somewhere, and I'll be honest with you, Myrna. So mentally, there are a lot of things that I dealt with, when going through that 2017 period up to 2021. And so, the gym has always been a staple in my life. And then just making sure that I have a lot of improvement to do, to be honest with you. I'm a work in progress when it comes to, my mental health. My current fiance, she's a doctor in mental health. And so, I want.
How is that?
Yeah, she it's interesting, she won't counsel me, right? She said, no, you need to go. I want to make sure I say this. Black and brown men, we need to take mental health very seriously. And I'm telling you right now, as a person who I'm going to fall on the sword and say, yeah, I can figure this out. I can do this. I can make this work. So I'm going somewhere with it. My fiance says, well, no, you need to go to counseling, right? There's a lot of, things that I've dealt with, early in life that I still have to process even right now. That could be some of the reasons why, some of the things that I don't do very well, some of the things I do well. And so I'm learning that process right now. So I am that person. I motivate people, but mental health is very, very important, especially as an entrepreneur, because you have to deal with so many things and have to be able to process so many things and know where that process should go, where that vehicle should take you, right? So at the end of the day, I just try to continue to move forward, and my why is obviously my family. My son is in college now. He goes to OSU. I cannot fail.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't exist in my world. I have to succeed, right? I chose to do something. I'll tell you something else. Even in the gym, I tell the guys, my gym buddies, if I put on a weight on the bench or put on a weight, or if I pick up some dumbbells and I choose to lift that weight, I can't say to myself I can't do it, because in my mind there's a limit that I know that I can't go beyond. But if I know I can do it, all I got to do is go out and prove myself right.
Wow.
I told my boys all the time playing basketball, like, when you make your mind up that you can do it, it's already done. You just have to go out and prove yourself right. It's not proving yourself wrong. You made your mind up already. It's already done. You just got to go out and do it now. So for me, I just got to get up every day and go. I have to get up every day and do it.
I have not heard that one. That's such a good perspective.
Yeah.
I am right now I'm thinking about so many times that I've said, I know I can do it. It's just a matter of taking that action.
Myrna, and you're right. And the last thing I'll say is I also tell people in the gym on my basketball team, my football team, when I say to them, wow, that's a great job you just did. Oh, I'm trying, coach. I'm trying. You're not trying. You're doing it. There's no such thing as try.
Oof.
Think about this. I mean, really think about this. When you are doing something, when you're trying, you're actually doing it.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as, I don't know what the word try means. When I sit down and pick up weights, or when I sit down and do my job, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So when you say I'm trying, there's no such thing as that.
I freaking love that. I never heard that.
No such thing.
Man, I'm telling you, y'all keep impressing me every single time. So Mauricio said, it's not sky. The sky is the limit.
Right.
It's your mind is the limit. And I was so shocked to hear that. I had never heard that. And right now you're saying there's no such thing as trying, because you're already doing it.
Myrna, if you get up every morning and go to the gym, did you try to go to the gym, or did you go to the gym?
Right. It's just, it is or it isn't.
If I pick up this table and I say I'm trying to pick this table up, I'm picking that table up.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. You see what I'm saying? So,
yes. Guys, if y'all took anything, y'all better take that. So, as an entrepreneur, I'm telling you, if you haven't healed, you need to start healing. You need to start going through your mental process, because you will activate triggers that you didn't even know existed.
Absolutely.
It's this crazy life. I don't know why, it's you willingly put yourself through this.
Yeah.
As entrepreneurs, what?
And I tell you, it's so interesting that you said that, Myrna, because, a lot of my friends have said, you're the perfect candidate for an entrepreneur, because, and I'm going to go back to the gym world, right? Because I live fairly heavy, right? I live very heavy. And to put our bodies through, the quote unquote hell that we put it through, and we enjoy it. I mean, you really got to fall in love with that process. You got to fall in love with being uncomfortable. I tell you, a very influential person in my life told me, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right.
You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? And so once you get comfortable with it and understand it's a process, your goals are already achieved at that
point. Have
point.
you ever came to the moment where like you started feeling comfortable, but like,
yeah,
how were you ever to identify it? Like, were you like, oh man?
Yeah, I still do. Like, I realize, like, I'm not where I need to be. I'm not, where God wants me to be. I don't have the voice that I'd like to have, and yeah, that. So, some days when I'm at home and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to relax today. Then something in my head says, okay.
Is that uncomfort, right?
Exactly. Like, no, if you relax, it's the calm before the storm. And I always feel that, right? If I'm relaxing today, tomorrow I'm going to pay for it. So let's get up and go. Let's go get this done. Let's work and get this done. So
love it, guys. That just gives me chills because it's so true. It's like, like, come on. And guys, life, we make it what we want it to be, but honestly, it's up to you if you're gonna listen to these things, because you're currently going through it, and you're saying, right now I'm going through growth. Right now I'm evolving.
Absolutely.
And guys, you might see him and you'll be like, man, I'm trying to be like him. Like, what is he doing? But he's still thriving. And this is what 24 Karat Gold Conference it is about, guys. So this conference, we're trying to put you in front of people and surround you around people that are currently going through their own journeys, right? They are successful, but they're going through their journeys. And not only are they trying to do that, but they are willing to help the community grow.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, that's crazy.
That is crazy, yeah.
Growing up, I never heard of that. Somebody, like, it was just, we're all trying to get above water, so we're all pulling each other down, That's what I was brought up with. And here it's like, I'm swimming up and I'm getting up, but let me give you my hand and swim you and pull you up.
Exactly.
And when you get up there, pull me up.
Exactly.
Man, isn't that beautiful?
That is beautiful. And I want to say I'm very proud of you, Marta.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. I'm serious. I keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a fantastic, amazing job.
Hey, as long as I continue to get surrounded by people like you, I'm going to be killing the game out here too, guys, because there's no failure in my book. I'm not going to try no more. There's no such thing as trying, right?
Right.
We're going to just go out here and get it, go out here and do it and call it. So, guys, is there any other advice that you want to give out before we close out?
Just be unapologetically yourself. We all have gifts that the good Lord has given us. We all have ways of getting those gifts out. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to shine and show them who you are and show them your gifts. We all have that. Go out and just attack it. And like I say, iron sharpens iron. Use the network resources that you have. Use the environment that you have. Be susceptible to, positive criticism. People that pour into you, don't take advantage of that, and don't take that for granted. Just be yourself, right? Just go out and do it and get it. Go out and achieve that dream. That's why we're here, right? So
that's the way to do it, guys. And he will be tagged. So make sure y'all go and send him a DM, or make sure you go out and follow him, because like I said, he has so much to offer you guys. And if y'all want to come and meet him, y'all can come to the chamber, or y'all can be at the 24 Karat Gold that is happening this Friday.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Roderick. This was definitely a pleasure.
This is awesome. Thank you.
Hoy estuvimos aquí en los nuevos estudios de Radio Metroplex en Arlington, Texas, la capital del deporte, el espectáculo y el entretenimiento, in the Down and Real Show with MIRNA, the CEO Diva. Shout out to everybody that joined us. Thank you so much. And we will see you next Monday at 10 a.m. Yay! Bomb!
Myrna, that was awesome.
Was it?
That was awesome. Wow.
How you like it?
I did. Thank you.
Yes.
Wow.
La base de datos de virus ha sido actualizada.
Bienvenidas. Comenzamos.
Radio Metroplex.
Presentando.
Radio Metroplex.
La mejor programación. En vivo. Desde Arlington, Texas. La capital del deporte. Los espectáculos y el entretenimiento.
Radio Metroplex.
La mejor plataforma en su